Now, you have three things. What are they? Maximum daily demand, maximum hourly demand on maximum day. See, if I'm writing maximum hourly demand, it's understood that it is maximum hourly demand on maximum day. Then you have the fire demand. Now, you will be giving the answer. See, I can tell you that we will design the raw water scheme for these things and you'll mug it up. But I want that the explanation should be so much clear to you that you don't need to mug these concepts. It will automatically come to you. How? Let's see. What is happening? You know that the value of maximum hourly demand will obviously be more than maximum daily demand. You know that, right? The value of maximum hourly demand on maximum day will be more than maximum daily demand, right? And fire demand also, we calculated the values of fire demand with various empirical equations. So, you tell me, this fire demand, shall I add it with maximum demand or shall I add it with fire demand? I need to add this value for sure. I have to add this because whenever, especially if I'm talking for very big cities, you have so much of industries, so much of extent of industrialization that you have to keep a certain amount of water reserved in the case of outbreak of fire and to extinguish the fire. Fine. So, you tell me, this fire demand, we will add it in maximum hourly demand or we should add it on maximum daily demand? Tell me fast. Tell me fast. Okay. This value of fire demand, if you add it in a maximum hourly demand, let us suppose this fire demand, you will add it on maximum hourly demand. What will happen? You know that this maximum hourly demand is already the maximum value. Fine. The maximum quantity of water which is being, you have calculated maximum hourly demand on maximum day, that is on 5th June at 9 am, your water demand was maximum. Now, in this such a large amount of water, you are adding the value of fire demand, and I told you the discharge of fire demand is high. So this high value plus this high value will give you a very high value. And if you design your raw water scheme for this value, that means what? Example. This means you are assuming 5 June maximum daily demand at 9 am maximum hourly demand for outbreak of fire will occur. What is the probability that on 5 June at 9 am fire will occur out of all the 365 days? It is very less. And that is the reason we don't take fire demand with maximum hourly demand. See, you can see the example. 5th June, you assume maximum daily demand. 5th June at 9 am, you told that it is the maximum hourly demand on maximum day. And now, if because you are telling that at 9 am there will be an outbreak of fire, because of that you will design your raw water scheme for MHD plus fire demand for that particular hour. It is highly uneconomical. It's very highly uneconomical because the probability that on 5th June at 9 am fire demand will occur is comparatively less. And that is the reason we don't add fire demand here, but we take fire demand here. That means on 5 June at any hour, outbreak of fire can occur, and that's why it's MDD plus fire demand. And the reason is MHD is already high, and if you're adding FD, fire demand, it will be super high. And if you're designing your raw water scheme for this much quantity of water, this much demand will come only once in a year, and that too for 1 hour, 2 hour. So can you, for that 1 hour or 2 hour, will you design your raw water scheme for that particular thing? No, it is really highly uneconomical. If it occurs, we can bear it, but you can't design your raw water scheme because it is not for one person you have to design raw water scheme, right? So this is the concept behind it. That is why this MHD and this MDD plus fire demand is also known as coincident draft. This is known as coincident draft. So if in question it comes only to calculate coincident draft, no need to calculate maximum hourly demand. You will calculate maximum daily demand. You will add fire demand to it. You will get the coincident draft. Fire demand, they'll specify you which empirical equations to be used and calculate it. Fine. This much you have written. Now, moving on, I'll draw once again the water treatment scheme, or basically the raw water scheme. The whole raw water, how you took from the source, how you treated, which I have drawn in the very first lecture. I'll do that. So that now I'll explain you for which purpose we'll design what. One more. If you remember, you can draw on your own also, fine. The thing is, first there was a source, there is an intake also. There is a source. From here, through pipes, you took it to pumps or canals. From here, there is again pipe. You took it to water treatment plant. From here, again through pipes, once the water is treated, it was there in service reservoirs. And then from another pipe, that is pipe 2, it reached to distribution system where your water is being supplied to your homes. This was distribution system. Fine. Now comes the question, what for each and every unit should be designed for? So I'm telling you that this source is designed for maximum daily demand. Fine. This pipe is designed for maximum daily demand. This pump is designed for maximum daily demand, but with a star. I'll tell you what does it mean. Then the pipe again is designed for maximum daily demand. Water treatment plant is designed for maximum daily demand. So now, similarly, pipe will be designed for maximum daily demand. This service reservoir, we'll be starting in this, so there's a separate chapter for service reservoir. There I'll be telling you for which it is being designed, but here I am writing it, but don't get confused. Basically, it is designed for volume. I'll tell you, this is basically balancing storage plus emergency storage plus fire demand. See, these things you wouldn't have studied, and I'll be telling you when we'll be dealing with chapter of service reservoir, so don't get confused now. Plus fire demand or fire demand storage. Fine. So basically now as for now, you can write that service reservoir is being designed for volume. Coming to the next. Now, you see that this pipe is being designed for maximum hourly demand and maximum daily demand plus fire demand. Out of these two values, the thing which will be maximum, you will design the pipe for that particular basis. Similarly, distribution system will also be maximum hourly demand and maximum daily demand plus fire demand. So what you saw that from source to this before the service reservoir, every component was designed for maximum daily demand. This pumps I have put a star, I'll tell you regarding it, don't worry. Then from after service reservoir, you are requiring comparatively greater amount of discharge, because obviously in maximum daily demand, if you'll add fire demand, what will happen? The value will be greater. Of course, it will be greater as compared to that of maximum daily demand for sure. So maximum of maximum hourly demand and maximum daily demand plus fire demand. This will be for pipe 2 also, you will do the same thing. For distribution system, you will also do the same thing. Fine, this much is clear. Now, for how many years it is being designed? So source is there for 50 years. Pipe is there for 30 years. Pump is there for 15 years. Again, pipe is there for 30 years. Water treatment plant, 15 years. This is again 30 years. Service reservoir is again 15 years. Pipe is again 30 years. Fine. So what I'll do is I'll mark basically I'll make a tabular format for this. That will be better. I should do this. I'll add. Or I can write it here also. Write component, design life. So there are various components. First was what? First was your source. Second was what was there? Your pipe. Third is your water pumps first. Pumps. Then fourth was your water treatment plant. Then again pipes, the same thing only, right? Water treatment plant. Then after water treatment plant, what you had? Service reservoir. Then you have pipe 2. And then you had what? Distribution system. Fine. So now, design life was how much? 50 years. Then pipe design life was how much? 30 years. Pump it is 15 years. 15 years. 15 years. Then again this is 30 years. And distribution system is also 30 years. Now, this is being designed for maximum daily demand. Maximum daily demand. Before service reservoir, every component is designed for maximum daily demand. Here it is designed for volume. Here it is maximum of maximum hourly demand and coincident draft. Similar goes with distribution system also. Now, this I told you, this can be asked in examinations, specifically if I am talking regarding state level examinations and ESC, this can be asked in your objective questions. So you should know this. Now, there are many points which you will be asking me regarding this. So first, let me make you clear what are the different points. You would have noticed, as I was telling you earlier, that before service reservoir, every components are designed for maximum daily demand, and after service reservoir, every components are designed for coincident draft or maximum hourly demand, whichever is maximum. So this service reservoir, the main function, although we'll be discussing it in detail in service reservoir chapter, what you'll see, this service reservoir is capable to reduce the quantity of water through these raw water stream before it. Fine? Why? Just one example I'll give. I won't go in so much detail. What happens is, every day you won't require the same amount of water. So when what happens, your demand is less. So the excess amount of water is stored in the service reservoir, and when your demand is more, the amount of water is being supplied. So what happens? This amount of water is stored in the service reservoir, which balances your demand, right? And that's the reason what you're doing, you're just providing a comparatively designing the raw water scheme before it for a comparatively lesser amount of water, because obviously maximum daily demand plus fire demand will make a larger demand, right? Now, second doubt, ma'am, why we are designing source for 50 years and all the components behind it after this we are designing it for lesser years? See, this whole raw water scheme is based on your source, based on water demand. Now what is happening? Let us suppose, how can I give an example? Let's suppose this is a pen. In that there is a thick, basically ink is there, fine, I think you can say refill is there on which you pour ink. Now if the life of this marker is 1 day, but that refill in which you put ink, fine, its life is, let us suppose, 1 month, then what will I do of that refill if my pen is surviving only for 1 day? Similarly, if your source is there for 15 years, for 30 years, what you will do for these other things, other components? And that is the reason for source we take it as 50 years. We design source for 50 years. Getting it? Now, second question, ma'am, why this pumps, water treatment plant and service reservoir you have designed it for 15 years? Because in pumps, water treatment plants and service reservoirs, the technology keeps on updating, and if you are designing it for a higher number of years and your technology gets outdated, then it's of no use. That is not economical, basically not no use, you can say it's uneconomical. Fine. Now, any design life you can't increase by your own thing. You can't like, okay, I want that water treatment plant for be 30 years, I want the service reservoir to be 50 years. No, you can't arbitrarily increase the value or decrease the value. See, I'll tell you why you shouldn't decrease the value and why shouldn't you increase the value. The thing, if you will decrease the design life of these components, what will happen? This will be uneconomical. How come it will be uneconomical? Because these are very costly components. Fine. So if you are basically designing it for lesser number of years, let us suppose for 2 years, 3 years, and such a heavy components, it will be what? Uneconomical. Simple. And now, if you are increasing the design life, let us say for every component by 15 years or 20 years, then what will happen? Then new technology came into picture, and these are outdated in comparatively lesser amount of or basically on lesser money you are getting more advantages, more technology, then but you have to operate this one because you initially wasted so much money on this. Getting it? So you can't increase the design life either arbitrary, or you can't decrease the design life arbitrarily. Fine, I told you. And why pumps, water treatment plants and service reservoirs are designed for 15 years. Now, the thing is, why I've put star in this pumps. Whenever you put pumps in raw water schemes, generally it is not being operated for 24 hours. Remember this is very, very important. If you see it in your irrigation questions also, there also you'll see whenever you are operating pumps, you are not designing it, or you're basically not operating it for 24 hours. Reason, let us suppose we take 2 types of pumps. Understand this. Just for your understanding, I'm explaining you this. There is a small pump and there is a large pump. Let us suppose my demand is, just an example, my demand is 250 liters per day. This pump will take 24 hours fine, so that my demand of 250 liters per day is fulfilled. And now there is a large pump, fine, of 500 liters per day. Its pumping capacity is 500 liters per day. Here its pumping capacity was 250 liters per day. So it operated for 24 hours and it gave you 250 liters per day. But the second pump which I am having, its pumping capacity is 500 liters per day. So I will operate it for 12 hours. I'll operate it for 12 hours and I will get 250 liters per day. Now you'll say, ma'am, what is the thing? Obviously, when you'll purchase small pump, it will be of lesser cost, and when you'll purchase large pump, it will be of higher cost. So in short, we should use small pump. But you forgot one thing, dear. It's not only the initial cost, it's the initial cost plus maintenance cost. So, although for small pumps, your initial cost will be less, but your maintenance cost, your operational cost, you can say, or you can call it operational cost basically. You can call it as operational cost. That will be more appropriate. Operational cost will be more. Similarly, if you see the large pumps, the initial cost will be high, but the operational cost will be low. Getting it? And it's economical if we use large pumps because the operational cost is low, because it is operating only for 12 hours a day, while the small pump is operating for 24 hours a day. Means it's not stopping for a bit also. So generally we prefer this 500 liters per day large pumps. Fine, and I told you. So whenever it is be always mention it in the question that the pump is operated for 10 hours, the pump is operated for 8 hours. So what you will do? That maximum daily demand you calculated, it is for 24 hours. So you will calculate for the time when this pump was if functional. Fine, for that time you will calculate. You will calculate maximum daily demand and you will divide it by 10 or with 5 for the number of hours the pump was functional. Getting it? So in this manner, I told you how you calculate basically average hourly demand, the design life components, weekly demand variations, each and everything. Now, just one thing more which I need to tell you. Understand that. This much is clear, right? Now, I'll do it here. Let us suppose, just an example, your population is 1 lakh. Per capita demand is how much? Let us suppose 250 LPCD. So what will be the maximum daily demand? Maximum daily demand will be 1.8 times what? 250 liters per capita per day into 1 lakh. This will give me the demand in liters per day. Let me calculate this. You also calculate this and let me know. Just take the camera with me. So now I'll calculate this value because I want to explain you how this population forecasting came into picture. 1.8, 250. It came out to be 45 into 10 raised to power 6 liters per day. Fine. So you can say that your maximum daily demand is 45 MLD. See, this we'll write this If you want to remove this, we'll write it as MLD, that is million. 1 million is what? 10 raised to power 6. So million liters per day. You write it like this. So in options, when you calculate from now, if it comes out to be 10 raised to power 6 liters per day, you write it as MLD. This one thing is clear. Now, let us suppose in this question, you aren't given the population. Let us suppose we'll take another example. The example is, if per person consumption of water is how much? Let us take it as 335 LPCD. 335 LPCD. One person requires this much amount of water. So maximum daily demand, what you are doing it? You are multiplying it by 1.8 into 335. Do this 1.8 into 335. You will be getting 603 liters per capita per day. This is the maximum demand which you are getting. Now, if I want to calculate the whole amount of water which is required, I have to multiply by the number of persons, or you can say the population. I'm not getting the space, it is population. That means 603 liters per capita per day. You have to multiply it by the populations for calculating the maximum daily demand. I will write it here. Maximum daily demand was how much? 603 liters per capita per day. That means you have to multiply with the population for getting what? For getting the maximum daily demand. But now there is one question which you tell me, answer basically which you will tell me. I am telling you the question. What population should you multiply? Will you be multiplying with the current population, or will you be multiplying with some other population? I'll be always multiplying, I will never ever will be multiplying with the current population. Why? Because if I'm multiplying with the current population, let us suppose this 2020, the population for which my raw water scheme is to be designed is 10 lakhs. Fine. So, although for now, for this particular year or maybe for next year, this raw water scheme will function. But after that, this raw water scheme will fail because population will be different. So every time you remember, whenever you are calculating maximum daily demand, you have to multiply it by the design population. That means if you are designing this raw water scheme for 10 years, for 20 years, so after 20 years, what will be for this 20 years population, you will be designing this scheme. So the design population, not for the current population, never ever you will design it for the current population. Fine. So you will forecast the population. That means if you are designing it for let us suppose it is 2020 and you are designing it for 2040. So you should know that 2040, what will be that population which will be basically residing in that particular place, and for that you will be multiplying it here and you will be calculating the maximum daily demand. So never ever, I'm telling you, never ever multiply with the current population. Right? Because you are not designing it for 1 year or 2 years. You are designing it for a considerable higher amount of time. Now, if you'll ask me, ma'am, how we do population forecasting, how can we calculate the population? This will be a question which we'll be dealing in the next session. So I guess this whole thing is clear to you. Just revise all these concepts till here, that what was the reason. I told you each and every reason for why this distribution system was designed for this much components, why service reservoir was designed for this much components, everything I told you the design life of these things. Now I'll be telling you how to forecast the populations, what are the criteria which is to be followed in the next lecture. So up till now what happens, like I'll just want to tell you one more thing, just for your information purpose. What was happening is, initially in Goodrich equations and everything you have seen, we were varying the time. We put time is 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, and we have seen the results, right? So in that, population was constant, it was time which was varying. Now, if we do the reverse way round, the thing is, Time was varying, population was constant. Now what we'll do, time is constant. Then in this case, what will be the peak factor? Fine, how can we calculate that? So as per the GIA manual, it is the population is like when it is 50,000 or less than 50,000, or when it is 50,000 to less than 50,000, 50,000 to 2 lakhs or greater than 2 lakhs. So in this cases, there is a peak factor which varies. The value of peak factor, I'll tell you. This peak factor will vary. For less than 50,000, it is 3. For 50,000, 2 lakhs, it is 2.5. And for greater than 2 lakhs, you can see the peak factor is 2. Right? And what is this peak factor if you ask me? This peak factor is maximum hourly demand, is the ratio of maximum hourly demand to that of the average hourly demand. So what I told you, this peak factor is the ratio of maximum hourly demand to that of the average hourly demand. And here what we assumed, initially we were always varying the time and population was constant. Now what I told is time is constant. So what you saw, less than 50,000, peak factor is 3. 50,000 to 2 lakhs, peak factor is 2.5. And when the population is greater than 2 lakhs, the peak factor is 2. And if you calculate the weighted average of this, the weighted average of all these comes out to be 2.7. The weighted average of this comes out to be 2.7. And we have already seen fluctuations in hourly demand was how much? 2.7. So just for your knowledge purpose, if it comes like in match the following, these three are given and these values are like permutation and combination, this is here, they interchanged it. So if it comes in match the following for 1 marks, you should be able to do. That is the reason I told you. Clear? And if they asked you regarding the weighted average of this, it comes out to be 2.7.